One of the most important things that I've learned from entrepreneurship is that I am at the source of everything. The successes, the failures, what's working, what's not working, what's going right, what's going wrong, the culture, the client satisfaction, it all finds its way back to me. And when I finally got this, everything changed. It was like I was empowered. I was no longer the victim to my circumstance. I was no longer affected by the decisions of others. I was no longer at the mercy of the market conditions. But instead, I saw myself as a link, interconnected with everything, and therefore responsible for everything because I was at the cause of it all. This was confronting and intimidating at first because I had to face a lot of the things that I was not admitting to, that I was not taking responsibility for. But in time and through practice, I started to recognize that it actually revealed more of the possibilities and the opportunities, and where I was blocking them, where I was getting in the way of them. Rather than blaming someone else or looking for fault or an excuse that I could use to escape this situation that I'd gotten myself into, I started looking for ways that I could take ownership and responsibility for what was happening. And that started to even spill over into my personal life. I began recognizing how my thoughts and my feelings were influencing my relationships, and how my mood was coloring the events and the experiences of my days. I started to recognize tangibly how I create my reality by the energy that I carry, by the attitude that I bring to every moment, and how all of this becomes the frame through which I see the world and the basis from which I act and create from. It forms the ground of my habits and my behaviors and my thoughts and my feelings towards the world. So I started shifting my focus from my outer circumstance to my inner landscape. And rather than trying to control or rearrange the pieces of my life, which seemed to be external, I went to the source and started to cultivate a different sense within me. I started to address the cause of what was happening rather than try to change its effect. And it became clear to me the power of this approach because this was a far more subtle way of working. It was less reactionary and it was actually more creative because I recognized that my mind and my state of being was projecting my experience, and that actually it was my beliefs that were creating the outcomes, creating the results, and creating my reality. So why not go to the source? Why not start to understand myself, to get to know my own mind, to start to change my beliefs? And when I did that, everything that I was experiencing in my business, in my life, reshaped and reflected that inner change. And a byproduct of all of this was the self-knowledge that I gained. And through that understanding, I was better able to accept myself. So this goes way beyond just manifesting a successful business and creating your reality to be what you want it to be, but really on a fundamental level of your personal and individual experience, there's no greater sense of freedom and peace that comes from knowing yourself. And as far as I'm concerned, that's true success in creating those external results with the goals and realizing certain outcomes in business and even fulfilling our potential and our purpose, all while maintaining that inner alignment.